There's a lot of advice going around about how to deal with toxic people, and most of the advice says don't. Well, sometimes that's not an option. Sometimes you have to live with someone you have labeled a toxic person. And another thing that I hear a lot is that toxic people are people who have bad intentions towards you. They don't have the ability to be good. There's just people out there who are pure bad. That might be the case, but I think people like that are extremely rare. I think most of the time when people are talking about toxic people, it's just that they don't understand the other person's perspective, and they don't see eye to eye, and they have totally different ways of looking at the world. I think that's most of the time what's happening when somebody feels like there's a toxic person in their life. And for people who don't have the ability to understand that, or don't have the strength to grow enough to try to see things from the other person's perspective, yeah, it's good advice to say don't deal with that person, keep your distance. I think most of the time it's a mistake to say this person is bad and they only want to harm you and they're totally selfish. I think everybody has good in them. That's what I believe. Even the worst person on the face of this earth has some good in them. And it's our job relating to people to help bring the good from people. Okay? It's not just our job to feel happy when we just pick and choose whoever makes us feel the best about ourselves, whoever doesn't want us to change. That's one thing I also hear a lot. Oh, nobody's gonna, people give advice, don't let anybody change you. And, I think we all should be changing and growing for the better our entire lives, because just like everybody has good in them, everybody also is capable of bad. And sometimes it's unintentional, and sometimes people are aware of it and they go through with it anyway. That's human nature. It's human nature to have good intentions and bad intentions and act on both of them. And much of the time, we're only responding to our environment. They say, oh, this person is this way because they've been hurt. They've had hardships in their life. Well, that's true, because most of us just react without thought. And we have these long-term, it shapes our personality and it shapes the way that we relate to others long-term when things happen to us. So it takes some introspection and some thought. It's a conscious process that you have to consider what might be the different perspectives that other people have. And you do have to go out on a limb and say, you know what? Maybe this person has some good in them, and maybe they're trying to express that in some way, but it's not coming across to me by the way I perceive things. So you have to make an adjustment. Sometimes the other person, like all of us, it's really hard to consciously consider something different than what we feel. So I don't think that it's a good thing that all this advice is telling us, oh, stay away from toxic people. They're so selfish. They just don't have any good intentions for anybody, and, shut them out and never give them any respect or any, don't consider that they might be trying to do something good. Because all of us know somebody like that. I mean, we think we do. Okay? That's because we have different ways of looking at the world. Not everybody looks at the world the same way as I do or as you do. Everybody interprets what they see in a different way. And especially that's true between men and women. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some men who think like women and some women who think like men, but they have distinct personalities and distinct ways of viewing the world and understanding people. Women have a different way of understanding and receiving other people, and men have a different way of doing that. And yeah, there's some crossover, and I think now, especially in these days, and in the West more than elsewhere, probably, we have this expectation that men behave, accept women in the terms of a woman, if that makes any sense. Like, we just label the male personality as toxic masculinity, when in reality they're just being themselves, and we've lost the ability to allow them to do that. And we've lost the ability to see the good in what they do and to overlook the bad. Sometimes you have to. You can't just grasp onto all the bad things and say, oh, see, this is this person. This is what he did. This is how he is. He only thinks about himself. He's just running everybody over like a bulldozer. Well, I think a lot of us need to grow up and understand that we're not the center of the universe, and there's going to be things that people do that hurt us. And it's not always intentional, and sometimes it is intentional, but that doesn't mean you throw the whole person away who did it. And if you have a difficult time relating to that person and expressing yourself, I think a lot of times we just need to grow up and realize that everybody in our lives is not there to cater to our emotional, quote unquote, well-being, because I don't see it as well-being if everybody in our lives only always is there to make us happy. Okay, we grow when we suffer, when we face hardships. Sometimes, that's how people can get shaped out to be perceived as toxic. But if you think about your situation and you take a decision of how you can grow from it, instead of just allowing the situation to just run you over. I mean, that's what we are as human beings. God gave us the ability to think about things deeply and to have some control if we're aware. We do have the control to say, you know what, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to think that about other people. I don't want to, I'd rather grow. I'd rather say, you know what? Maybe my feelings got hurt by this person, and maybe this person is never going to apologize and never going to even recognize what they did to me. But I have the ability to say, it's okay. I forgive them. I will look past that because I believe this person has some good in them. And my feelings over this one little incident aren't more important than the good that this person has to offer the world. I think we all need to be able to take some hits a little bit better than we do and move on. That's what makes us strong people. Strong people can come through hardships out the other end better than they were before. And weak people can take some negativity out of those situations and write people off. and say they're just bad people, so that's why they hurt me. That's how I see it.